2022 Lexus RX 350L review. What's new? Fog lights are available as a standalone option on any trim. 2 new exterior colors. Part of the 4th RX generation introduced for 2016. If having a large enough third row and sufficient cargo space behind the third row are priorities for you, look to the RX 350L's rivals. Not only are most of them larger, but many haven't gone so long without a redesign. Both the Acura MDX and Infiniti QX60 were completely redesigned for the 2022 model year, and the Lincoln Aviator was all new for 2020. The current generation RX 350 dates back to 2016. Check out the Edmunds expert rating below to get our test team's full review of the Lexus RX 350L's comfort, cargo space, tech, and more. The RX 350L is a slightly larger and pricier RX 350 with a third-row seat suitable for occasional use only. Compared to similarly priced 3-row SUV, it simply can't compete in performance, space, or utility. If you're a fan of the RX and looking for one with more cargo space, the 350L could still work. Otherwise, there are better 3-row options. The 2022 Lexus RX 350L is a stretch version of the regular RX 350 that provides a third row for 7-passenger seating, but because it shares the same wheelbase as the regular version and is only about 4 inches longer, the third row is very cramped and it has less cargo space behind the third row than most of its rivals. Fortunately, the RX 350L shares most of the qualities found in the regular RX 350, such as excellent build quality, a very comfortable ride, plenty of luxury, and a quiet cabin. How's the interior? The interior feels luxurious and roomy if you leave the third row seats stowed. Raise the third row, however, and things go south. The third row is very cramped, and room in the second row can suffer because you will likely have to slide the seats up to use the third row. It's a poor showing in the 3-row segment. Visibility can be an issue in parking lot scenarios, and you could be playing a guessing game without the optional 360-degree camera. We appreciate the number of clearly labeled buttons around the cabin. You still have to use the infotainment a fair amount to access certain controls, but Lexus has improved it this year, replacing the old joystick-style controller with a touchpad and adding a touchscreen interface. The location of the touchscreen makes it a bit of a reach for anyone, but it's better than not having that functionality. How does the RX 350L drive? The RX 350L feels good on the road, with solid pickup, easy steering, smooth stops, and competent handling. Our instrumented test numbers tell their own story, though, and the RX trails many of its competitors by at least a small margin in acceleration, braking performance, and handling grip. While we can overlook the numbers, we noticed an occasional delay between asking for power and the transmission response. This phenomenon is a bit inconsistent, but it could be the biggest annoyance day to day if it becomes a common occurrence. How comfortable is the RX 350L? Comfort is where the RX excels, but only for those seated in the first 2 rows. The front seats are wide and accommodating, with a contoured back that benefits from 4-way lumbar adjustment. The second row seats are pretty comfy as long as you don't have to make sacrifices for anyone sitting in the tiny third row. The RX 350L suspension takes the edges off all bumps around town, even the big ones. The cabin is also well insulated from traffic and wind noise. You won't have to raise your voice to have a conversation. The one oddity is the rear seating climate control panel that's located on one side of the third row of seats. How's the tech? Lexus Mark Levinson stereos are always a high point, and the big infotainment screen is crisp and appealing. Lexus Inform app has a handful of useful features, but it only integrates a limited selection of third-party apps. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay smartphone integration operates fine for the most part, though some of our Android users experienced issues with some apps missing and sometimes had no functionality at all. Charging options are available for the first two rows, with a generous 6 USB total. The driver aids mostly work well, especially adaptive cruise, which will operate in stop-and-go traffic. Most other systems are similarly strong, but the lane keeping assist offers very little intervention and can lose sight of lane markers. How's the fuel economy? We tested the front-wheel drive RX 350L, which gets an EPA estimated 22 mpg, 19 city/26 highway. That's marginally better than average for a three-row crossover SUV. All-wheel drive RX 350Ls take a 1 mpg hit across the board but still do better than average. Our test RX 350L fell a bit short on our 115-mile real-world evaluation route, averaging 21.6 mpg. How's the storage? For the size gained in its growth spurt, the L version of the RX reaps few benefits in utility. The biggest gains come with the third row folded, netting a total of 23 cubic feet of cargo space, but in all configurations the Lexus falls far short of three-row competitors. It does much better on small item storage. There are clever little cubbies for the driver and front passenger, with plenty of options for not just storing but also organizing your stuff. The child safety seat anchors in the second row are easily accessible, but you might have trouble fitting bulkier rear-facing car seats if you have the second row forward to allow for use of the third. And if you plan to do any towing, 3,500 pounds is the limit. It's far from a class-leading figure, but it's more than enough for light towing. Lexus has taken a stylish and intriguing two-row midsize SUV and turned it into a three-row also-ran. It comes up short in a segment of strong contenders offering more performance, fun and practicality. That said, it's an attractive and comfortable SUV that many people will flock to for those qualities alone. Is the RX 350L a good value? The RX feels solidly put together, and though there are hard plastics around, you're unlikely to interact with them. Touch points are covered with high-quality materials that really lend a luxury feel. Lexus put some thought into this interior. Dollar for dollar, the RX 350L is priced pretty competitively in the segment, but the idea of paying a premium for little extra usability over the regular RX is a bit galling. You're better off spending your money elsewhere since most midsize three-row competitors are quicker, roomier, and more useful. The 2022 Lexus RX 350L is a three-row midsize crossover sold in a single trim level. It's powered by a 3.5-liter V6 engine, 290 horsepower, 263 lb-ft of torque paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Front-wheel drive is standard, and all-wheel drive is optional. The RX 350L comes standard with 7-passenger seating, though the second-row bench can be switched out for captain's chairs, reducing the seat count to 6. The 2022 Lexus RX 350L is only available in one trim, but there are several optional packages to choose from. We highly recommend opting for the navigation package, which adds a 12.3-inch touchscreen display and an upgraded 12-speaker audio system. The larger touchscreen replaces the standard 8-inch unit that looks like a relic in today's luxury SUV market. The luxury package is pricey, but it adds a lot of luxurious features including 20-inch wheels, upgraded leather seating, interior ambient lighting, a sunroof, a heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated front seats, and heated second-row seats. Pros: impeccable cabin finished with top-quality materials. Advanced safety features come standard. Excellent ride-in seat comfort. Cons: third-row space is tight for anyone other than small kids. Touchpad controller is distracting to use. Less overall cargo capacity than competitors. Hard to see out of.